Welcome to the round table for Red Dirt D&D Curse of the Clockwork City, episodes 23 to 26. Woo! He can count, boys and girls. I'm joined by my illustrious, fantastic, stupendous
Did you
staff.
say who you are?
I'm Brooke Bullitt.
There you go.
Joined by
Kiri Hester.
Woo!
Michael Cross.
Yeah!
Crom.
What is best in life? You can't say that on the podcast.
Destroy your enemies.
There you
Crush your
go.
enemies. See them driven before you.
Thank you, Johnny.
Hear the
Payne.
lamentations of the women. So.
We haven't even started.
No.
No.
Burn the women and steal the villages and destroy the horses. Wait, what?
Oh my goodness.
And then we have Connor, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay!
I already did that.
Yeah.
But you
Okay.
guys were.
You guys were talking over them.
Wait till you hear my outro.
Oh my goodness, it has been crazy for me personally, but we are so excited to have you guys listening. Thank you for the great comments that folks are dropping in on Discord and other things. We are so excited that you're enjoying the show. But it has gotten a little crazy for our PCs as well as, you know.
So,
But, yeah.
in honor of getting a new pope,
Yes.
which I'm not convinced is American because I don't think Ziv is an American name. X-I-V, however you pronounce that. Yeah,
LOL.
Pope Ziv. Totally.
Wow.
That sounds more like someone from space. In honor of getting a new pope,
Pope.
I have a confession.
Okay.
Did we level last time we met?
Yeah.
We
Yes.
did.
To level 4.
I thought we pretended to
Someone just
level,
rang.
but nothing
It was
official
Brooke.
was going to happen yet.
No, we were supposed to actually level.
Yeah, I said.
Okay, because I was like, cause I remember the beginning of the session. It was like, make a copy real fast for level 4. So if we hit it, you're already there. And I just went full blown level 4 the whole session.
Awesome.
Which is
Oh,
fun because we
it's
didn't do
fine.
any battle or anything until
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
got until.
And I couldn't remember. I was thinking last night. I was like, oh my god, was I doing that fight at level 4? And I should have been doing it at level 3.
No,
Nope.
No, we
level
were all
four.
level
You
Well,
were-
then I don't have a confession. Put one back in the
But
put a bean
before-
back in the
There
jar.
was only one actual mistake. We were talking about this before the show. There was only one actual mistake. It wasn't
Not a
actually,
mistake!
It was not Kiri's mistake. It was not Kiri's mistake.
totally Kiri's
Ty-
mistake.
Typically, if you're listening, and you go, well, wait a minute, Kiri did a spell and then did a cantrip, did message as a cantrip, which is not a bonus action. However, it was totally approved by the DM.
It was.
So that's on
Brooke
him.
could never get that right when he was playing Mokrin, and
Well,
evidently he
and
still can't get
here's
it right.
the thing
It was
also
just
is,
message.
didn't I miss with my spell, my action spell? So I feel like letting me cast message was a pity spell.
That's well, and it would have been the same things if you'd yelled it out. It's not
Exactly.
like anything changed.
Let me do my new spell. It was
Yeah.
shiny and fancy.
I think everybody was just distracted by the excitement of getting to go. It's me. Don't freak out.
Don't freak out, yeah.
I also love the fact that so many times it seems like, especially here with our podcast, whenever we have a little tweak and something doesn't quite, we missed a rule, the dice seem to cover for us, and it wouldn't have made a difference anyway, right? Like the dice are like, you really can't do that, so you rolled a 3, you know, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of level ups,
Yes.
what are some things that I know 4th level isn't that big of a deal. I mean, it is, but it's
I think 4th level is probably one of the biggest because
Yeah.
it's an ASI.
Beats.
It's ASI, it's feats. You've got to really think. It's one of the few levels where you've really got to think about, well, what do I want to do with this? So yeah, that's pretty huge.
there you go. Did you do an ASI? And
Oh no,
are you thinking of
not
anything?
anymore. There's no reason to do an ASI anymore because you get that +1 on every.
Yeah, you get an
feat.
ASI built. Yeah, it's built in.
You know, so it used to be, some of the really good ones, even like Great Weapon Master and what is the Warcaster. You still get a +1. So, but that's not the ones I chose. I was thinking about doing like Warcaster, but instead I have picked Ritual Caster.
Nice.
Because I was trying to figure out how we could get Identify and how we could get, and then someone else was talking about if I just had a familiar, I could, because Dr. Stone's not getting anywhere near combat.
Okay.
I'm not doing it.
You're just threatening
We've
with
got
the
plenty of
sparkly
people-
hands
yeah,
all the time.
We've got, and even when I have to, if I do the sparkly hands, I can get away because
Shocking grasp.
Shocking grasp, you get there's no opportunity attack. That's the only time I'll get in there. That's to get away.
Yeah.
That's
But-
his taser to get out
There
of
we
the
go.
eye.
This is true. Sometimes when you're a doctor down by the docks, you
cast
gotta have.
tasers.
You just gotta carry a taser
Yeah.
just in case.
But I've got 2 frontline workers. I got 2 frontline fighters who I've got to make sure are safe. So how do I cure wounds, which is definitely one of the best healing spells out there? How do you cure wounds
Without getting into
without
the fray.
getting afraid? Find familiar. I've got a familiar coming.
Sweetness. That's in the Discord. You've teased with that.
I have
so.
teased with that.
So is
So-
it a nice, cuddly, soft, gentle familiar? So when they run up and touch us to cast the healing?
Oh no, it's an owl that'll rip your eyes
Oh,
out.
giant talon.
It lands on your
You're
arm.
down 10. I healed you for 8.
But
I
no,
did
no.
two.
Instead
So
of
six.
actually touching you with talons, it like brushes you with its wonderful wings.
Listen, this owl wears a nurse's hat. This owl is a paramedic. They're going to stabilize you until you can get to the doctor.
Should we give out the name now? Since
No, I think we should wait till he actually shows up, or she
I feel
actually
like
shows
it's
up.
ridiculous in one day, so let's just wait.
I mean, it's your familiar and your 4th level, but
I think we should go ahead and say it now, because that way when it does show up, it doesn't completely freeze up the entire show. Because I was really thinking of more of a serious type of name, but apparently our patrons decided they wanted to go more.
The internet was a mistake.
you've seen, you know what the internet does,
I
right?
know.
So
But as our patrons, I had faith in them.
silly
You
rabbit.
should have named it Hippocrates.
Well, of course, and if I really didn't want this name, I should have just not added it to the polling. But the name of my owl will be Doctor Who.
Wah, wah,
Is the tree that owl lives in bigger on the inside?
No.
Okay.
But he has, he knows how many looks it takes to get to
I know.
the center of the whole problem.
There you go.
1, 2. For you kids, there was a show.
Yeah, we know.
Oh, you're going to be busy talking. You're too busy talking to order food.
No.
There's
later.
also
All right, you wanna try?
the turtle. The
Sure.
turtle version of that commercial was also good.
Oh yeah, there was like a Myrtle the Turtle type of
Yes.
doo-doo-doo
Well,
guy.
they couldn't figure out. Yes. How many looks does it take to get
Yeah.
to your tail?
Ask Mr. L.
Yeah,
Johnny, you're exactly right.
he is too busy.
talking.
So I'm an American, so things with meat.
No, we'll wait till we're ordering our lunch right now, kids.
It's been a bit of a schizophrenic morning,
So
if you
Ritual
couldn't tell.
Caster, the problem with Ritual Caster is it has actually been nerfed from the 2014, which is a little disappointing. In the original 2014 was
Sorry,
Jesus, Kiri, I'm trying to do a show.
I kicked the table on accident.
is if you've got a ritual book, and if you come across any ritual, you can copy it into your book and you can cast it so long as you are able to cast that level. of spell. Well, no longer. Now it's only 1st level spells and only up to your proficiency. So that's a little disappointing. So I only get 2 right now. I'll get a 3rd one next one.
Yeah.
But once per 24 hours, you do actually get to cast the spell as a non-ritual, just as your regular spell.
Taking up his
nice.
normal spell slot and all
Right.
that good
So,
fun
for
stuff.
example, Identify, which is one of my spells, instead of taking an hour and 1 minute to identify something, I can do it in 1 minute. And next level, when I get my new spell, which will be Comprehend Languages, which would normally take 10 minutes, not an hour and 1 minute, it'd be 10 minutes plus a minute. It'd be 11
11.
minutes. Yeah. So instead of casting 10 minutes to do Comprehend Languages, I could do once a day instantaneously. Also, any of these spells can be cast on using a spell slot if I want to. So it's been, like I said, it's been nerfed a little bit, but I get a familiar when, as a cleric, does not get that spell. So that would be nice to have. That's for me. How about you, Johnny? What did you get at 4th level?
Rock and roll. That's what I got, Michael. Deep down in my
He
soul.
started a band.
Started a band.
I could get behind
I
that.
dipped in the bar.
Getting the band back together,
Level
man.
1 bar. I don't remember.
The blade.
I got the.
I did talk to
sewing.
Aiden, by the way. Well, this is going to be a bet to see how long it takes before you multi-level, multi-class.
Multi-class?
You've never not multi-class.
No, it's not true. Campaign 2,
switches
I didn't
classes.
multi-class. my
That's
character
true.
died in
That's
campaign
true.
2, and I started a new one. I only multi-classed once, and then completely changed classes.
Yeah.
There's no higher.
But
Stitch.
changed.
He changed his subclass.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
Yes, it does. You changed your character somehow. Go ahead.
So this one is he'll probably change by death. So I'm super awesome with glaive now.
Awesome.
Nice.
And I get something. What did I get? Was that a level 4? No, that's from that. Where I can't remember what I got. I can shoot. What is it called? Mother Puss Bucket. When I miss, I didn't really miss.
Glaze.
Graze. Yes, I got graze.
Yes, which you used quite a few times.
Yes. And I got cocky and said, I never miss. And then I missed.
Whoops.
Very nice.
And reactive strike. So it's like every other game now. I get attack of opportunity on someone stepping up to me.
Woo! That's your feat? That's your special ability. What was your feat?
My feat was the thing that gave me, what'd you call it?
Glaive?
Yeah.
Oh, so you just got another weapon mastery.
Yes, yeah, that's what I got. Another weapon mastery. Specialized in glaive, and I used the glaive to get the. I keep wanting to say scrape.
Graze.
God, skip me next time. I was not ready. I'm worried about sandwiches.
Scrape.
Okay, Kiri, what'd you get at 4th level?
I took the ASI.
Yay!
Apparently a dumb move.
No. For charisma?
I think my charisma and my dex were both odd, so I took one in each.
Oh, so
Yeah,
you're
so if
super
you take
smart.
ASI, you get 2 of them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you don't, you get a thing. Yeah.
Plus 1 plus a feat, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
You're
why I
fine,
think
Kiri.
there used to be, when you start 1st level, you tried to get everything even. But now with that new ASI, like my wisdom was a 17, just kind of holding off until I hit 14th level.
There you go.
4th level, so I could get up to 18.
And Kiri, you, by chance, are, again, a smart move because you're not going to get addicted to feats and shiver like these other folks.
It's just,
It's a feet fetish.
So-
I can quit anytime.
Connor, did you say feet fetish?
Yes.
Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I don't think that's actually what I did. I don't remember what I did. I know that my charisma,
We're in top form today.
my charisma is now an 18. So it's a +4.
Awesome.
Maybe I put them both in charisma. I don't know because my dex is odd. But if you haven't been paying attention, sports fans, part of the College of Dance is adding my charisma to my unarmed strikes and stuff like that. So it's essentially when I punch, it's my dex and my charisma. And then that's why I can do 11 points of damage with a punch on a poor teen who was hungover.
Another thing I was thinking about also when, because we talked about this, and remember that I listened to these things over and over again.
Yes, sir.
Editing. So when you went to go punch the guy, you were deciding whether punching or doing firebolt would be better because one was 2D.
Oh, yes. I was working the odds.
Yeah. The other thing to think about is remember you don't get to add anything to your damage on a cantrip, but you do get to add to your damage on. So when we were saying you get it's 2 to 10 rather than 1 to 10, it's actually like 6 to 14 or 1 to 10. Does that make sense? So
Sure.
when you punch somebody, you're gonna do more damage.
So you're adding your strength modifier
or
to
your
your
dex
punch,
modifier because
but spells don't have a modifier to add to the damage.
right.
There you go.
So when you're thinking about how much more damage will you will do more damage when you punch somebody than when you do a cantrip. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Just for future reference.
I did pick up Message as my new cantrip, which we see at the very end of the episode of 26. And then I get second. I don't remember if I had 2nd level spells yet, but I do now. And you get a nice long ad for this at the end of the outtakes if you're a patron. But the 2nd level spell that I picked up is called Ember Belly.
I love Ember Belly.
And it is from Obojima, which is a Kickstarter that we're big fans of over here because there's lots of really cool spells. But just the text here, you swallow the oil consumed in the casting of the spell. We're going to reflavor that to be like Everclear or something. We just need the most flammable thing. Moonshine. We just need it to be super flammable.
Just Bacardi 151.
Yeah. Once before the spell ends, you can exhale the oil as a bonus action, igniting it as you expel it from your body. Each creature in a 5-foot wide, 30-foot long line must make a dexterity saving throw, taking 2d10 fire damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. And this spell lasts for 8 hours.
Nice.
No
Wild.
way.
It's an all-day thing.
And so you can do it once as a magic action.
So yeah, it takes an action to cast, and then
But you then use a magic action from then on.
no, it's a bonus action to breathe.
So you can walk up to somebody, punch them, and breathe on them.
And
For 8 hours.
and all of their buddies standing behind them.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I learned a lesson. I was looking on. You look up on websites on how you can cheat on things like this. It's not cheating.
What?
How you can be
What
the
did you
most
say?
efficient.
Most efficient. But one thing is like so when you wake up in the morning, before you pick your spells, you don't pick spells.
No.
But before you finish the long rest, you cast it on yourself, and then for 8 hours. But then you get your spell slots renewed. So when you wake up in the morning, before you renew your spell slots, you cast it, and for 8 hours you get that. But your spell slots have renewed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So just something to think about whenever we finish the long rest. You go, I'm going to cast that on myself before my spell slots renewed. Then you have that spell for 8 hours. It's really good for dungeon crawls.
Yeah. Crazy good.
Which it sounds like we're about to do.
Which is
Might be something I gotta do. Woohoo! Connor, how about you? Did you prep for dungeon crawl?
I knew exactly what feat I was going to take, and I don't know about prepping for dungeon crawls, but I took the feat Skulker, which gave me a +1 to my dexterity, so now my dexterity is now an 18.
Awesome.
Which ups my armor class. Haha. And then with the Skulker, I have blind sight out to 10 feet from me, which is fun. Mm-hmm. And then also, I have advantage on stealth in combat, which I was using pretty heavily.
To hide behind Greeley.
Yep. He still saw me, but it's fine.
Radar didn't.
Yeah. And then it also comes with, it's called Sniper, but it literally says an attack. So if an attack that I make misses, I do not break my cover of hiding.
Oh. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. I can see why they call it sniper, right? You know, like, "Paching," where'd it come from? I don't know. And so if you somehow someday were to miss with the rapier, I don't know if it's ever happened yet.
It might.
It had. You go, and then people wouldn't even know that you reached out and stabbed at them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
Just stabbing out of the darkness. And
Yeah.
the nice thing about having that 10 feet of blind, you could be in complete total darkness where they can't see you either.
Yeah.
We needed someone to cast darkness on you.
Uh-huh.
Because we could just cast darkness, and like they couldn't see you, you couldn't see them, and you're just
Yeah, if they're 10 feet near me,
Yeah.
I know where they're at.
Which means also if they tried to run away from you, you get an opportunity attack. With advantage, with sneak attack. So yeah, you're
It's great.
deadly. Which is
That's
how you should be.
awesome.
Yep.
You guys are the deadly ones, we're the helpers.
I like it.
I don't know. I'm basically a dragon.
Yeah, you are now. That's true. You are almost we are actually a frontline fighter too.
I like to do a little bit of both.
Yeah, you're the what do they call skirmisher? You're the one who can move in and out. Whether you want to be up close or back, you can do kind of both.
Yeah.
These guys are going to be best when they're up close. I'm going to be best if I'm far away.
Yep.
Going to do that wheeling School of Blades, right? School of Dance, that whirling dancing dervish thing, right?
I mean, yes and no. So that's why we switched to the Knuckle Dusters, because I didn't do College of Swords.
Oh, that's right.
We were going to do College of Swords until the new 2024 came out.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we
yeah.
had College of Dance.
Bard monk.
Moxie,
Yeah.
may I have this dance?
I don't know. I rolled really.
I had to start a combat.
That'd be cool.
I always, and I think I've
So you
talked
can-
about this before, but to me, it's that scene in Kingsman where Colin Firth just like takes
Yes.
them all out with his umbrella, and it just is very graceful.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies plays in the background.
What wasn't graceful was finding dead bodies. Well, you guys didn't find them, but finding out that there had been a hanging, multiple. And obviously, according to Reynard, it was suicide.
Yeah.
They're idiots.
But so a little bit
Then it
of
all became CSI Iron Spire.
it did a little bit,
Very
right?
Nancy Drew.
I don't know if this. Don't know. How much was in the outtakes and how much wasn't. It became a lot easier once the players and the DM realized where the alley was in relation to the soiled sow.
Yeah.
That was poor, maybe
Well,
description
and
on the DM's part.
Nope. When I went back and listened, you
Me
kept
too.
saying
Me too.
it's across the street. We
too.
were
Yeah,
not
that's why I'm
listening.
like, I have no idea where anyone is. I'm just gonna stay here.
It was me too. When I was editing, I was like, oh, he did say it. Oh, he
we
did
just
say
kept
it. Oh, he said.
we
yeah.
just kept thinking you meant across the alley when you said across the street, and we never asked for clarification.
And I think we went down the alley and said, oh, it's on this building, and then across on that building, and so across always became the two
Across
buildings
the
side
alley.
by side.
Yeah.
and across the alley.
but we figured it out.
But we figured it out.
We got there.
And everyone went, oh.
But we still decided not to go over there. And so we still decided to go.
Right.
And technically, it didn't end up in the outtakes at all, I don't think. But technically, our DM did say, there's nothing important in this building.
No, it is in the. It's in the. I don't know if it's in the show or in the outtakes, but
I know
think,
he took it out of the show.
But then it's
I
in the outtakes because he says, "You could go into this building. You also could not.
Yeah.
There's nothing in that building that's going to change your life.
You can't put a hatch to
I
It's
know.
top of
Chekhov's
the building.
hatch.
Yes.
You can't put a hatch on a roof
There you go.
and not
There you
have
go.
it open.
Why is this here?
Check off skylight.
And then thank you for moving the plot into that building.
Yes.
Yes, because you guys were going to check it out anyway. So
I gotta say, I mean, Brooke, I have been amazed this entire 26 episodes about how really good you are about improvising whatever stupid crap we end up throwing at you.
Well, and this is it's a really great example of something that we have talked about before and something that other DMs talk about all over the internet, wherein you get around railroading by making your players think there's a second door, but there's not really a second door.
Correct.
We were going to come across that interaction between Reynard and Greeley either way.
Right.
It's just a matter of, is it here or is it somewhere else?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always said. It's like, oh man, they went south instead of east. I don't know what to do. I don't have anything for plan for south. Everything that was east is now south.
now
That's
south.
what we do.
rotate the map.
there is no door
it's
to.
that easy.
Yeah.
But but even with us knowing that that's what Brooke is doing, we still feel like we have agency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. It doesn't impact the show at all. I think
Right.
our listeners also can enjoy. Oh, they're just following along there, and that's what I'm saying. It's never felt, as far as players, and I know for our listeners, it's never felt like you were on a wire going, what do I do? Nope, just
I will 100% say that the Greeley-Reynard conversation was not supposed to happen then, but I could just feel it. I was like, we need to move. So in effect, it kind of became a time jump that no one knew about except for Brooke. Like in Brooke's notes, he went, okay, this is now gonna go hoomp over here, and now we'll put that conversation in that spot, and then jump, kind of move things
Right.
forward to us really
I want to
quickly.
highlight something off of what Michael said and keep boosting Brooke here. Yeah, another amazing moment, and I've seen it happen several times in these episodes. One that I've experienced myself is, he and I stepped around the corner and peeked behind the curtain. Hey, what do you think of August, DRUGS's? It was like, oh yeah, okay. And then we talked about something else. Then we come back to the table, we run an episode, then we run another one, and August and Moxie are in a bar, and I'm like, this is where I'm going to do it. But there's no planning. There was no planning.
Right.
He didn't know what was going on. At that moment, there could have been no one in the bar except for the bartender. Mm-hmm. But then August said, hey, the guy over there in the dark corner, telling Brooke there's a guy in the dark corner of this world that you've built. And then Brooke has an idea to say your eyes are playing tricks on you, or yeah, him. And he made that character come to life. a transaction took place. They had dialogue. They had reactions to things, and that's that's.
And that's, I think,
It's a lost art, and Brooke is doing a great
Well,
job.
and we talked about it
that's-
last
that's-
time as well, that's essentially because you and I, Moxie and August, were kind of left out of the Shiv plot line. And I had told Brooke, like episode 1, you need Moxie to do something, threaten my people, threaten my bar. And so he threatens my people.
And just teaser, we still haven't found Melody yet.
Yes, we have.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
She's in my.
Oh, that's
she's
right.
in. We talked about
She's
this.
in detox.
She's in detox.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
in.
wait. Yes.
She's
I'm so
grounded.
sorry.
She's
I'm
in
so
room
sorry.
7.
We
She's
found
in the
Melody
drafty room.
and Peter.
She's in the drafty
She's
room.
in the draft room 7, which may be the window up to.
Moxie doesn't know that.
Nope, not at all. But I will say this: Johnny did a fantastic job. You talk about world building together once again, or just a moment. We have a battle. Spoiler: you guys defeat Reynard, right? August doesn't kill Reynard, but instead has this wonderfully cold-blooded revenge idea,
Which I haven't executed yet.
which you haven't executed yet, but it's there. And I immediately went, oh my gosh, link this string and link that string and link this string, because you plotted this idea of I'm gonna drug him up and then drop him off in front of basically the police station.
I say we kill him and cut Brooke's strings off.
And if he goes down for it, if it sticks and it works and he goes down for it, the string is who are those above him, who are those below him, who are those in that circle that got me out of here.
Well, and so, and also, I assumed something that Johnny talked about, because I was thinking about it while I was listening to 26 on the way in, is if we had killed Reynard, now we're just putting the target on our back at that point in time. Even if they don't know it's us yet, there's going to be investigating. So by not killing him, that's good. But then on top of that, Johnny and I were also smart enough to know that this is why Moxie is currently standing over Reynard's body, because if we left him, that would give Brooke the opportunity to be like, he's just gonna sneak away, sneak away, and like do some rolling behind the screen, and then the mid-tier villain lives to fight another day.
Would never.
Which I'm actually thinking, as I already thought about, because as we ended episode 26, about getting away to do that so that you can go get into the combat. You are better in the middle of the combat than I am.
I thought about that while we were playing, and I thought about that while I was listening. I was like, why isn't Dr. Stone standing over this unconscious man?
So that's about
you weren't here.
The first round when we are still fighting these goons.
Yes.
The first round of that's going to be the first thing I do is shocking grasp, get away, and say, Moxie, go. Get in because or we can both stand guard over him.
Right.
It's no big deal, but there's no reason for me to be up there. In fact, you don't want me up there. I've got plenty of hit points. The characters can take some hits.
And as we've mentioned before, now that you can heal at distance, then people are never going to die. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, no, that's the whole. And plus, the fact that we had 2 weeks of downtime, so I made tons of scrolls, healing potions. We're fine.
Yeah. Spent all that Zaylen Pierce money
for
the betterment of the people.
Yeah, all that crooked money.
It's dirty money.
It still spins.
It's spent
Have a spoil. Have some water.
In fact, if you just want to give me all your money anytime you get money, that's fine.
Why do I get the feeling that Michael is jinxing this?
He is.
I also want to give a shout out and a belated Gear of Fate to Connor
for
figuring out that the red shirt druggie was Peter. How did that come to you? Do you remember how you were just like putting the clues together? Because you were spot on. I didn't say anything in episode, but you were exactly right.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just on like re-listening to it, and I guess it was like some description of it being some kind of like younger guy trying to look like he's like dressed up, but it's still kind of dirty.
He'd been on date night.
And I was like, oh, this is Peter. This is Peter. I found Peter.
It was really good. And Brooke has no poker face, so when you said that, I think you instantly knew that
Yeah.
you
And
nailed it. So.
Brooke flubbed. I don't
I
listen.
totally did. I was going to talk about that too.
Flubbed the reveal of Steven.
I did.
I know.
Instead of
but
the young
you'll
guardsman.
notice that got completely cut
It
out
did.
of this.
And I'm so glad that later on in episode 26, I had asked specifically, I didn't use his name. I said, are
I
any
know.
of these people the young, inexperienced cop we met earlier?
Yeah, and so I took those out. So I actually don't know if you are not a patron, because I think it ended up going into our
Outtakes.
Yes.
And only our patrons have the outtakes. So if you're not listening, understand that at one point Brooke did actually say Steven was the guy who was
Guarding the
alleyway. And so we like made sure
And
to
I was like,
protect
"Darn
him, but that got completely taken out
It
of the
did.
show. So
So
yeah,
I look suave and debonair and always keeping my cool.
that's right. Like we don't have any idea. The other thing I changed, I don't know if you caught this, but when we go into Rook's Roost, you had originally said it got complete. I changed it.
Oh, yes, because I had said, I wish I had said this instead.
Right.
And I was so glad that you had changed it.
So she comes in and she originally says, "I'm looking for my daughter," and then Then the guy, the orc, goes to look for the proprietor. He comes back, and that's when Kiri says, "Oh, I should have said coworker or employee." And so I want to do employee instead. So I took that and changed it from the first time. So it
appreciate
always
you.
said employee the entire time.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
That's the beauty of editing.
Magic. I will say off of that too, totally behind the scenes, when I was doing the voice of Anar, that lots of teeth to work around there, and he's talking like this, right?
Yeah.
I noticed that Johnny Payne grabs his phone.
No,
and just
I
starts
have not
recording.
showed those to people. We
And
laughed
so
at them.
There's blackmail out there. I don't know what he's gonna do with it, but there's
I think
blackmail
that needs to
out
go on
there
TikTok.
of-
I showed my wife. I was like, "Want to see the face Brooke makes when he talks like this?" And I was talking like that the whole time.
Yeah, you do. You have to
She was like, "What?"
And what's
I
really
held my
funny is
phone up.
I don't remember there was one of the Zelda characters, the shopkeeper from, I think it was.
Is it the happy mask salesman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was who it reminded me of. So
I
yeah.
heard
I've got you down. So.
I
You're trying to
heard
open the candy bar.
I can't remember what they are now from episode 1.
That's exactly as I was doing it. I was like,
Now there are
"Oh my
two
God,
of them."
That sounds like the fan.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
Phantom
Trade
Menace,
Federation
which was, by the
guy.
way, on May the 4th,
May the 4th.
we watched Phantom Menace. And
Should have watched Revenge of this.
well,
you watch Revenge of the-
Kimberly wanted to watch Phantom Menace, my wife, and
There you go.
and she's a big Jar Jar fan.
Oh.
I've got a coworker friend who's a big Jar
And
Jar
so,
fan.
and I tell you, let me tell you, I know a lot of
He's just a goofy, silly guy.
your millennials and your Gen Zs do actually like Jar Jar and do like Phantom Menace.
You know, I will say,
we
Phantom
do
Menace
not.
wasn't a bad movie.
No.
It wasn't terrible. Duel of Fates was amazing. I will take Jar Jar over most of the stuff they put out today for Star Wars.
Well, now here's the thing. What I say, watching Phantom, I've never really cared for Phantom Menace, but this time I think I got to enjoy it more because of all of the expanded universe stuff. The comics and stuff. I was naming,
Yeah.
all Quiati Mundi and all of these people that
that are
they're like,
there in the
and,
arena.
and Ara Singh, who's watching the pod racing. All of these things that have been fleshed out. I'm like, I know who they are now. So it's much cooler when
Yeah.
you get to see them, especially when you see the group of Jedi that are really fleshed out in the Clone Wars. And so it's like I got to enjoy it more because of what's gone into the expanded universe. It's not as bad as I remember it.
I know we're going off on a small tangent, but have you guys heard about the Topher Grace super edit of the Star Wars prequels down into one 85-minute movie?
Yeah.
Without Jar Jar? Yeah.
It exists.
It just happens tonight,
It
yeah.
exists out there in the universe.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
somewhere or whatever. So yeah,
It's like the stuff you need. Yeah.
I also did some Star Wars rewatching, and I've been in the room while Star Wars has played. I'm not a big sci-fi girly, so but I've never really tried hard to focus all of my attention on it. So I tried really hard to focus all of my attention on it. And I'm going to tell you this. Here's my number one complaint about the original 3 movies.
Right.
A New Hope.
Oh,
understand.
okay.
Yeah.
They were made in the 70s.
No.
Oh, okay.
My beef is
Killer teddy bears. Sorry.
no.
He
My
kisses his
beef.
sister.
Stop.
Let Carrie talk.
Is the name of Han's ship
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw
the
you post this.
Millennium Falcon?
Right.
Falcon.
Yeah.
Every single character calls it the Millennium Falcon.
The Falcon.
The Falcon, Ful, drove me nuts. It's a falcon. The falcon is a bird.
That drove you nuts, not the fact that someone calls him Han.
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 I can get on
No,
with
I
that.
can't get up.
But here's the
Man.
thing. That's one guy. I can that's his accent. I can, but every single character.
Don't you know Star Wars is made in New Jersey? Moxie should get this.
Maybe-
It's a
Maybe on the
Falcon.
outer rim, that's how they
Falcon.
pronounce Falcon.
It's a
If
Millennium
one
Falcon.
What the hell
person,
is the aluminum Falcon?
if one person,
Falcons can't fly in space, but Falcons can.
if one person had said Falcon, I could have chalked it up to like that's what that character says. But it's every single character. Drove me nuts.
That doesn't bother me at all.
bothers me so
I
much.
didn't even think about it really.
Millennium
It's okay, Carrie.
Falcon.
Falcon.
It's
I also mechanically.
Millennium, not millennium.
I tried to look it up and I couldn't find a satisfactorily
the Millennial Falcon.
appropriate explanation.
I can believe in the laser swords. I can suspension of
I
disbelief. You
know.
can move things with your mind, but don't mess.
But
with
in
my
a galaxy
language.
far away, they don't pronounce it differently than
I also
everywhere else.
posted something last night
Hey.
on Facebook that was like, "Oh, this just goes to show that in the future, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Star Wars is not in the future, man.
it's not.
It's not."
It's in the
No, it's
past.
not.
Yeah.
It's a long time
They're
ago.
also comparing
time
it to something on Earth, and I'm like, and by the way, there's no Earth.
There you go.
A long time ago,
Maybe
yet
it's trans-
somehow still in the distant future.
Yeah. There you go.
We flew back.
Maybe it's like Tolkien and its translation, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Like Merry and Pippin, those are not their real names. They're just their names in English.
True.
So
Don't get me wrong; they're great films for science fiction films. I don't love them because I don't love science fiction.
yeah.
Right.
You know, but
Of course, technically, it's not science fiction.
you know what I'm saying.
It's science fantasy.
It's science fantasy.
Science fantasy.
Oh my
There's
god.
magic swords and wizards.
Star Trek is science
We
fiction.
had
Everything
a
in Star
possible
Trek could be
deniability
true.
segment about that. Oh my gosh, these guys. It was great. Science fiction versus science fantasy. Evidently, there's a difference.
So Moxie and
If you go
Dr.
through Amazon
Stone.
Prime and type in sci-fi, it'll bring up Lord of the Rings. Go ahead.
Yes,
sorry.
it does. Yes.
Moxie and Dr. Stone have a I want to talk to your manager moment.
Yes.
Good old
yes,
Karen.
Yes. In the Discord, and probably by this time I will have put a title suggestion of Moxie Goes Karen. Like,
Yeah.
or Moxie's
Wow.
inner Karen. So, no offense to anyone named Karen.
Named Karen. But that's,
But-
it is, yeah.
I want to speak to your manager.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want. See, my title suggestion was also related to that same moment, but it was like a ruckus in the rook or rook's ruckus.
Yeah.
We use the word ruckus so many times
Could
in
you
that like
describe the
4
ruckus?
minutes.
I do not want to start a ruckus.
I love. Well, if there's gonna be a 1 gold piece entry, there's gonna be a
One gold piece ruckus. I'm going to give you 1 gold piece worth of ruckus.
I just imagine Sable and August being able to hear that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, did I accidentally drink the stuff and it's kicking in?
No,
Did
no.
you
I
actually
don't think
drink
there would be
that?
No, I just
embarrassment.
lowered it next to my leg and poured it out.
There we go,
I thought I
yes.
said that somewhere.
I
I
think
thought it
it-
really hard.
I think it would be almost trying to hold back laughter, just realizing that this poor proprietor is now facing off against Moxie.
Yeah.
And it's like muffled through the door.
Yeah.
You're going to give 1 gold piece worth of ruckus.
I didn't even get
don't
to
know what
hear
the-
like the entirety of it because I went and snuck off.
That's true.
But I heard the start of it.
What's the percentage chance that when all that, if all that were to go a different way, that not Connor but Sable just would have like stayed in the supply, in the alchemy closet, right? Just been like, oh, I'll just wait here.
Oh, I'm just gonna wait here.
Step back out, and the room is a shambles. Furniture's broken. People are
There's
down.
Moxie and her ruckus again.
Yes.
Another famous Moxie ruckus. Trademark. Copyright.
Trademark, copyright. So circle back around. You guys do go. Yeah, I guess you investigate.
Rook's Roost.
The victims.
Oh,
Rook's
yeah.
Roost. You see the little bites all over, especially located around the amputation areas of the victims. And then, of course, you realize that, hey, Reinhard's lying through his teeth. There's no way that's suicide.
Yeah.
Sable causes a ruckus.
I
A
do.
little bit.
Oh, that was
Moxie
a beautiful
helped.
moment. That was so much fun.
She knows how to trigger a ruckus.
Uh-huh.
You need me to trigger a ruckus?
I got you, boo. Spiders.
Famous for my ruckuses.
That's fantastic. Just
And
spiders in the middle of a
one of the things
crowd.
I've never seen thaumaturgy being used is that small wonder
Yeah.
part is
Yeah.
which like that is so
It's a DM's gift.
right, or a player's really
Yeah.
because it's basically it's you've basically
Can you convince your DM that this counts as a small wonder? This is the
it's
question.
basically
Yeah.
a minor illusion.
Exactly. Indeed.
Like thaumaturgy is so good, but not a lot of people use it because they're just like, what do I do?
I can
with
make my
this?
voice louder. That's
Yeah.
I would take
can
it
I
over
hurt people with
prestidigitation
this?
any day.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would take it over prestidigitation any
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
I love it, yeah. Especially if you're playing a caster and you're trying to be all, yeah, it's.
I'm not trying to rob you, Frodo Baggins. So.
But so yeah, Sable causes a ruckus. We do some cheerleader scrambling. Dr. Stone goes on a ropes course. Bless his heart, just trying to climb the rope in gym class.
We've all been there.
I didn't have a problem going up the rope. It was the ladder that was hilarious because everybody slides down the ladder like a firefighter, and Dr. Stone takes it one step at a time. And by the way, if you
Safety
listen to the
first.
audio,
Safety first.
you hear him taking one step down.
Well, and I also even imagined him doing like putting left foot on the rung, right foot on the rung, left foot on the rung, right foot on the rung. Not even
51% of all ladder-involved injuries is on the descent.
hands on the vertical, feet on the horizontal.
3 points at all times. 3-point touch.
Plus, I'm 49. I could break a hip.
You're old. You're just a human guy.
That's right.
And Dr. Stone is kind of old, too.
Dr. Stone's younger than me, actually.
I'm gonna cut your mic.
Yeah, don't make fun of the sound effects guy.
Dang it. Missed my will save again. Wisdom save again. Duh. Good stuff.
So we go up the rope, and then we decide.
Sit on the roof for 3 hours.
No, the best part of that was Moxie
the wrong
was on the
drug to
other
do.
roof.
Moxie was on the other roof. I didn't want to risk jumping across and them seeing me.
So it's like, okay, where's Moxie? She's over there. She can come over here. I don't think so. I think she's gonna stay over there.
The moment whenever everybody at the table realized, like, oh, across the street. You know?
Listen,
My
I
favorite
will
was the
tell
moment
you,
everyone realized, oh, I can jump 100 feet straight across.
the
And
three,
it doesn't matter.
Well, you can, and I did actually look it up again. Was that you can jump your strength number, your strength ability score, as long as it's a long jump. You can't do it. It's not a standing jump. I think it's like half or something like that.
Yeah.
But as long as it's 10 feet, you can jump your strength. That's why, yes, the idea of jumping 18 feet is like,
yeah,
that's
we did
Olympic.
that. We did that math with Billy. And that's how Billy was jumping all over that anti-gravity level
Yes.
in the
Yes.
temple because it was our jump was doubled and
Already,
Billy's
then-
score was maxed out at 20,
20.
and I was like, so I can jump regardless of
You could jump
gravity.
40 feet, and it's because the thing is, you got to understand is that the characters, the fighters in this world are superheroes.
Yeah.
They are
Everything's
superheroes.
superheroes, yeah.
Well, I'm not. I'm just a cleric. Or then, our rogue could not jump that far. But the whole point of a fighter is you are a superhero. So yes, jumping 18 feet, that's Olympic length
8
of
feet, that's
jumping.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point of who you are. You're supposed to be. Yeah, you're.
But
supposed
those
to be a
3
superhero.
hours that Moxie spent alone on that roof under the stars, she's probably been more relaxed, like nobody's bothered her.
Is that where you wrote the song, maybe?
But yeah, it was just a nice quiet, just waiting for them to finish their cleaning up their crime scene.
I love that. And so yeah, and that's why I love the fact that you were able to change the kind of the timeline. It's weird because whenever I read in books or in movie, even anything that's written, that all of a sudden the heroes or whatever show up at just the right time that something's happening. That's completely scripted if it were. And so the fact that we could come down right as they're having their little argument and two goons are hiding off in the in the shadows was
They
perfect
do.
timing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect timing. Perfect timing. Which, once again, you guys are just so super efficient at combat. You take care of things
I
pretty
don't know
quickly.
what you're talking about. Moxie failed on every single round except the one where she knocks out Reynard.
Right. Connor and Sable. Connor and Sable.
Connor and August.
August and Sable are
August.
super efficient at combat.
Yeah.
Really? You guys should just team up and like take the proceeds and cut out the middleman.
We talked about this.
Right. So.
We're taking all the money that Moxie doesn't pick up because it's dirty.
Yeah, I feel I had Greeley, and then he got yeeted into the secret room,
Which made me happy.
and that's how Brooke gets past me killing all his important people.
Well, but it also opened up this secret door, this secret
Right.
passage that I think is actually, obviously, that's where we need to go.
Yeah.
So had we killed everybody, we're like, okay, now what? Now Brooke would have to figure out some way for us to find this secret passage. I know, totally.
It would be
Look
one
at
of
the
those.
door, look at the door, look at the door.
We know that Sable would have ended up like doing perception to like loot them. So maybe if Sable got a really good score, hey, you notice a breeze.
You're leaned down there over that dead body. Like, hey, what's that?
But I think the fact that and we know that that's a way to go, so it puts us on the next path of where to go next. So
We just got to
Y'all
figure out what
believe
to
in
do
my
with.
perception checks.
We just got to figure out what to do with Reynard.
Yeah.
I say tie him up and douse him in drugs.
Well, are we going to leave the building and then come back for the secret passage?
I don't know. We can leave him there. I mean, if he's just tied up, who cares?
We'll see.
Because if he gets
what-
away, he's still doused in drugs.
We'll see what August comes up with.
Yeah, you have a whole.
It's his.
I mean,
it's
if you
his
wanna,
arch nemesis. It's his plan.
If you want to spend it on him, you have a whole bottle of Shiv.
We don't want to kill him.
Other things.
Yeah, I think that
know
there were
about
like
that.
4 doses in that one thing. I think
think
that
so.
would kill somebody.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh
I
darn!
know, but we don't. I
He's
don't
laying there dead with like some of the sugar like running down out of
because I don't necessarily want to kill Renard.
I
want
think
to
it would be
discredit
suspicious.
him.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Same. Yeah, no.
We want
that's
him
the
to
plan.
live in.
Yeah.
Right.
Live with his.
I want you to live
Exactly.
wallowing
There will
in
be a day
pain.
that he will die by my hand.
Yeah.
But today is not that day.
Yeah. First, you're gonna make him suffer.
Yeah.
Be-
to the pain.
He needs to like lose all of his credibility so that he has to live in a shack on the roof.
And it's gonna be the shack of the mermaid roof.
Even worse.
Well, because I think it happened.
The hollowed out, root cellar of the mermaid.
I think
versus
it
the rooftop.
happened off mic, but I think we made a joke about Reynard's build just being Dark August, like Dark Link.
Yes.
Just
Yeah,
like being.
Yeah.
being
They were
the same
trading back and
build.
forth. Reynard did okay for you were missing. That's what it was,
Yeah.
right? And it was
missed a
like
couple times,
yeah, and he like obviously combat training, right? Like he knew what you were going to do with that glaive. So
We train in the same yard.
good stuff.
So, what are you guys hoping that we do
Yeah.
next? What are you guys planning?
I'm not planning anything. This is August's arch nemesis. We've got to figure out what we're going to do with it. We've got to figure out, our original, I don't want to say mission, but like our original goal was to find who is the distributor of this new Shiv and work our way up to find maybe the manufacturer.
My goal is who's taking the kids?
Yeah, see, we have no reason to believe that these things are connected. We've gone off on a different plot.
But I don't know if we have.
Yeah, it's a bad city. A lot of things.
Well,
are
I did
happening.
actually think of a connection because we were talking about the
Except for the amputees. I guess the amputees that we just found dead.
that, but also the prosthetics are powered by ether, and the Shiv puts you into the ethereal plane. So there's that connection. That's what I thought. Yeah. So
And he knows he's right because Brooke did his tell.
I want to play poker with Brooke. I want to play high stakes poker with Brooke.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
So Michael, you and I get a gear after.
yeah, really.
But we do, I mean, I guess we do have, our characters have already made the connection of the spider bites on the amputee victims that were just murdered, and the spider bites being centralized around their amputation points is also important.
It
You know,
might
maybe
be.
that's
what I'm saying. I'm
again
not sure.
another connection to the prosthetics.
Yeah.
And so we also know that these guys were murdered from the drag marks on the roof. We have reason to believe that it was Greeley, Reynard, or some combination of the two.
I wonder if these amputees had prosthetics.
Don't know.
And like the spiders are drawn to.
I was going to say,
Or,
did
like,
the spiders
coming
relieve
out
them of?
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know.
They were
Because we didn't
found
recognize
in-
these guys because we all
Yeah.
rolled less than 5
Yeah.
on our perceptions.
Because
I wasn't back there to see the bodies.
But yeah, because also
And
since they're made from ether, maybe they're attracted
Drawn
to
to
that.
it. And then also
bond.
because they were found in such suspicious
Circumstances.
ways, that whoever did it could have taken the prosthetics.
And how many? Not all of them though were.
I didn't get a
well,
sign
not
from
all
Brooke,
of them were
so I'm not
amputees,
right on
right?
that.
All of them are amputees.
Not all of them. I think there were 6, and 4 of them were, and then
Right.
2 were not.
Right.
So-
Okay.
I think what happens is the prosthetic is powered by ether.
That's what I'm saying.
Someone somewhere is watching and like, okay, I need them to be activated, and they're pushing a button saying the power word, whatever, and the prosthetic is injecting the wearer with Shiv
That's what I'm saying.
to give them a boost so they can do a thing that needs to be done, and then the side effect is you're high as a kite and they're spiders.
Yeah.
It's
I
bad,
think
I did
also-
better than my own.
Well, and that's what I was also wondering about, whether or not there was some kind of. My first thought was some kind of opening a gate type thing. If you get enough people taking the Shiv, opening a gate to the ethereal plane, is it like Monsters Inc., where that's where you get your scream power? So they're
yeah, very
siphoning the
nice.
ether power off of people taking the Shiv.
And like we haven't seen Baccarat show up. When's Batman gonna come stop?
Listen,
You still never seen
Similarly-
August and
I know
Baccarat
he
at the
lives
same
on your
time.
roof, but he could
doesn't
show
live
up
on
at
my
any time.
I mean, we think he does.
Yeah, the entire we were up there for 3 hours and we didn't see Baccarat at all. I
I
couldn't
know.
amazed.
He's only on roofs.
Like he jumps up onto our roof that we're having and goes, "Ooh."
That's exactly right.
Baccarat jumps up, we're going to go, occupado, okay?
This is on a roof. Get off here.
Can't roof here.
Hey, you, get off of my roof.
And then everybody misses the perception check of it as he slinks away going, I'm Baccarat. You guys are all watching the Soiled Sow. Meanwhile, he swung back and forth doing
Yeah.
city Baccarat
Doing
business
acrobatics.
behind you
Yeah.
2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
It's really interesting that. So Reynard had said to Greeley, you should have disposed of them like they did at the fishery. So we're led to believe that Greeley is the one that disposed of these bodies. Unclear if Greeley is an idiot or a mastermind. Why would he do it so close to his own establishment? Seems suspicious. Seems like it might make his already sketchy establishment seem sketchier.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When 3PO was telling the Ewoks the story and he said Tiglo Falcon, did he say Falcon or Falcon?
I didn't get that far when I was doing my rewatch.
so, okay,
I
yeah.
only watched 4 and
You
I
would
only
think
watched,
he would like say it properly because he's a
right.
Yeah.
I only watched 4 and 5.
Okay.
It's hard
you
to tell
should
with
watch
that British accent.
Yeah, you should watch 6.
I mean, I've seen them before. I was just doing a
I
rewatch
see, yes.
recently.
She was doing the hard focus.
Yeah, I was focusing.
Apparently on one word the
Vulcan.
entire freaking time.
But yeah, so we'll see. That seems like a really dumb way to dispose of bodies is by making them a public statement.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
We're going to look at author's purpose here.
But I mean, we've
Yeah.
got the stupid guards being like, "Oh, they just killed themselves." So
Totally Reynard, and then the others being like, I don't. Okay, whatever the boss says, I
Which,
guess.
yeah,
But
I mean,
like 6 people simultaneously committing suicide by hanging
I mean,
is wild.
except, my first thought is, oh well, they could just discredit it to like a Jonestown type of thing.
Yeah,
They-
yeah,
they
yeah.
just-
Heaven's
they-
Gate.
Yeah, they just committed suicide altogether because they were in some weird cult and decided to do that. And the cops are the ones who you've already got in your back pocket. So even if it is a public spectacle, they can write up whatever they want.
But
There
again,
has been a
it
suspicious lack
is
of cults.
literally less than 10 yards away from his
Yes.
place of business.
Yeah.
unless
Which-
someone's trying to frame him,
Yeah.
Ding, ding. I mean, right? Like, we didn't hear the end of the conversation, right?
But Reynard said you should have disposed of them like you did at the fishery. Greeley didn't say, that wasn't me. I feel like he would have immediately objected, and he didn't.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think he did it, and I think that's what I think. Renard knew it, and so. But Greeley. Now let's talk about Greeley for a moment. Greeley is not like a fighter or a rogue or anything. He's some kind of caster because he's all himself. Robed. He laid on hands.
Yes, and that may have been Brooke using not the technical term, but just not wanting to say he touched himself.
Brooke is a hardcore Pathfinder player for decades.
Yeah.
And the thing is with the monsters and bad guys and creatures in that, it's like, oh, here's a rogue who has lay hands, and because that's how monsters and bad guys work in that game system.
Could be.
You don't know what you're up against.
But
he has some kind of healing magic.
Yeah, that was the other thing but he was robed. He wasn't like your guards or some kind of
His
muscle.
face was painted, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had some face paint on.
So I'm like,
so that does
my
lean.
first was warlock type of thing.
That does lean, yeah. That does lean that does lean warlock, or paladin or cleric.
Some kind of spellcaster, which
maybe some kind.
Maybe he's a shaman and he uses shiv to reach through the other side.
That's kind of where I'm at.
To go on his walk.
shaman.
Warlock pact
Shaman.
that has something to do with the ethereal plane as well.
Everything
I
isn't a
can't
warlock.
wait. You guys are going to have
Everything
so much
isn't
fun.
a warlock, Carrie. God.
Could be, I guess, a cleric with a
I
connection
don't
to
think
the
you think it's
ethereal.
It could be like a dark cleric of some kind that has, if there is. We don't necessarily know of any of the dark gods here.
Right.
We even talked about that early on, so we don't know who they might be and whether or not there's some kind of connection with them.
Do we, Sable, know of any dark gods here?
Now, I don't see.
I don't know, do we?
I don't know how.
I would just say that I love the fact that Connor's face is slightly pink.
That's just what my face does.
When I leaned past Carrie to look down at him, you looked like you were in deep thought. You were staring up into space, and your eyes were kind of moving around like, well, there is this one and that one, and then I got the whole
Well, I mean, I know what Brooke and I have talked about
Oh, okay then. Well, we'll just leave it at that.
as
and your
one of
sneaky matron.
the evil gods. And that would be really interesting if he had a hand in this. But I don't know. I think drugs are beneath him, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the drugs might not be a plan, but more of a means to an end.
Yeah, could be.
Whereas, I mean, I don't think any kind of deity in a D&D world isn't usually that micromanaging type of thing. They're just like, I want this to happen, and now that's why I have cult members who make this happen.
Yes.
I don't care
It
how
could
you get there.
Definitely be just like kind of building off of what you were saying with like you get enough people doing shiv, it opens a gate. It could be Greeley could be part of some kind of like trying to gain power that way, making a power grab. He wants to be as powerful as the god or whatever it is. And so he's amassing it that way, trying to get through.
And then how this all connects to Zaylon Pierce, and that's going to be the interesting thing to trying to figure that whole thing out.
Right.
So it'll be interesting.
Right.
Maybe Zaylin Pierce's Baccarat.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Zaylin Pierce
I
is
feel like
too-
now we should just go out with like thematic dun
Here's
dun
the thing,
dun
though.
music, right?
Zaylin Pierce is too arrogant. He could never have
Why
like a
do you
secret
think-
identity. Like he would say, "This was me, Zaylin Pierce," as he flies away.
But he is also very Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, you want to think Bruce Wayne isn't arrogant?
Yeah.
But he doesn't
Carrie's
say,
like, "Dang
"'Tis
it."
me, Bruce Wayne."
I will say you guys have done some fantastic
Theorizing.
sleuthing and theorizing right here in the last half of the round table. Absolutely fantastic. I will say that at least one of the key ideas has been put on the table.
I got
It's
Brooks'
super exciting.
nose and finger point, so I was onto something.
Since this is audio, no one knows there was one moment where I said something, and Brooke immediately pulled his pen out and started writing down. And it's that moment of it's you go to a warehouse. You mean like a house that like can turn into a wolf, or like you mean that? Like,
could you describe the gazebo?
It is now.
It is now surrounded by gazebos.
What's the gazebo doing?
Gazebo minions.
It was a sketchy gazebo.
Like sometimes.
It was very confusing, and we should have been scared because that guy murdered us.
He did murder us.
You know what we're talking about, right, Gary?
Us.
I'm talking about
Right, you're talking
the
about.
porcupine.
We're talking about the classic story of the gazebo in D&D. Do you know this story?
No.
All right,
listeners.
No,
Okay,
we don't
okay.
need to
No,
tell the
there was a
story.
time.
No, it's content. Here we go.
Because it's so funny to what
It's
you
really
just said.
good. It's really good.
I'll be brief. There was a dungeon master running a game of D&D back in the day, like the AD&D days, and they come up on this like haunted mansion, and the ranger says, "I'm going to go around back and look for a way in back there." It's like, okay. And so the DM deals with the people on the porch and going to the side of the house and climb up to windows. And he gets to the ranger, and the ranger's like, okay, what do I see when I get around the back? And he says, well, there's some bushes and hedges up against the house, and then a little bit across the yard, there's a gazebo. And then off of the, wait, gazebo? What is it doing?
Which I picture.
It's just sitting there.
I always picture the backyard of Sound of Music when
Yes,
Liesel
yes.
is there
It's
in the
like,
gazebo,
well,
right?
What color's the gazebo? It's like white. And the ranger does not know what a
gazebo
structure
is?
of a gazebo.
Yes, doesn't know the word
He
gazebo.
thinks it's a Dungeons and Dragons monster, and he pulls out. So he's at first he's annoying the dungeon master, and then he starts shooting arrows at it. The dungeon master's like, you know what? And quickly stats it up and makes this gazebo attack. that's the gazebo story. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Take us out, Brooke.
I hope that we don't have to fight any warehouses or gazebos. Woohoo! But we do have a secret door to open up, and behind that secret door are answers to theories and adventures. It's been fantastic. We're glad you guys are with us. I am Brooke Bullock, joined by
Michael Cross.
Let the games begin. Heads will roll. Release the lions. Start the show.
I'm Curiester.
We're not going into the Hunger Games, are we? I'm Connor Shenold. I will die first.
You're going to die first? Okay. Bye-bye.